Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be covering the case of 23-year-old Fan Manley, but her case is widely known as the Hello Kitty murder. Fan Manley was abandoned by her parents when she was very young, so she grew up in an orphanage until she was 16 and they kicked her out. She was left to fend for herself and survive by prostitution and petty crimes. In 1997, she joined a brothel because it was just a little bit more safer and a little bit more, I'd say, stable for her than working on the street. However, a lot of the people that she worked with were from the Triad, which is like the Chinese mafia. A regular customer of hers was called Chan Man Lok, and one day she decided to steal his wallet, which had around 400 pounds in it. Eventually he found out because, they were the only two people in the room, demanded that she pay him back not only the 400 but also an additional 10,000 interest for the disrespect. She managed to get him the money, but not the 10,000, and I think eventually he realized that he was not going to get this 10,000 back, so he decided to kidnap her. She had left the brothel at this point. I think she was running away from him, and she started working on the street again. And one day they found her on the side of the street and took her to this disgusting apartment where they set up a small brothel for them and all of their friends for her to give them services until her debt was paid off. On the first night, Manley was severely beaten and raped. First, the beatings were with their bare hands, but eventually they moved on to weapons. Metal bars, kitchen utensils, bats, pieces of furniture. They would also force her to smile and laugh and tell them how much she was enjoying the beatings. And if she wouldn't, they would beat her harder. She was so brutally beaten that eventually she was unable to, give them services, and also the clients found her unattractive. They also found more creative ways of torturing her. They would melt and burn plastic onto her body. They would light her legs on fire. They would also burn the bottom of her feet so that she couldn't stand or walk. In the gashes of her body, they would stuff spices, food, dirt, and even feces. She was also forced to eat her own feces and drink her own urine, and if she gagged, she would be beaten. She could barely move a few days into her torture, and this, I suppose, kind of ruined their fun for them. One of them decided to suspend her in the air and use her as a punching bag. 15th of April, about a month into her captivity, they left her in the bathroom, as they usually did when they went out, and when they returned, one of the men's 13-year-old girlfriend found her dead in the bathroom. Died from her wounds. It just became too much for her. I'm glad for her that she died when she did, because she would constantly beg for them to kill her. She would constantly plead for death, but they just wouldn't let her have it. Most of the information actually came from the 13-year-old who had partaken in her rape and torture. She went to the Hong Kong police, very distressed, and told them that she had been haunted by the ghost of 23-year-old Fan Manley. She felt like she was kind of forced into a confession by Fan Manley's ghost. The body was pretty big, so they decided to cut it up and boil the muscle and flesh off of the bone. Or even cooking noodles right next to her fucking body parts being cooked. Like, what the fuck? What freaks? And they stuffed her inside of a mermaid Hello Kitty doll. The police also couldn't charge them with murder, so they charged them with manslaughter. Chan Man Lok had said that, something had happened and she died, and just some bullshit, really. All were sentenced to life sentences with no possibility of parole for 20 years. Manley actually had a son, and her son is currently studying in Malaysia. Not sure if it was from her husband or from a client. It's widely believed that it was from her client. That's the story of Fan Manley. I hoped that you, liked it, I suppose, as much as you can like something horrible like this.